So I'm going to offer 2 ways to start. And the first is child's pose with something to prop up on. Do you want that extra cushioning underneath of your head? Or you can come into a frog pose, that wide-legged, knees wide, getting that deep hip opening stretch. So hopefully this accurately shows that it's not the most graceful pose, but it is a nice hip opener. And then you would use your pillows to support your head again. Oh, I love seeing everybody's furry friends too. Mine had to go in the bedroom because they roam during class. So find which one of those works best for you. We're all improvising and using whatever props we have at hand. So if you want blankets or throw blankets or regular pillows, that's mostly what I'm using. And then begin to cozy up to yourself. We're all getting used to all this new stuff and online technology, so I'll probably be now getting up out of poses to just check in on you guys. But allow this child's pose, whichever version you're in, to be expansive and a symbol of surrender to those things that you're not able to control, which we're now finding out in more ways than one, or more things than we thought. So feel the heart rise and fall as it's protected by the earth underneath of you. Take a big breath in, fill up through the heart space. And as you exhale, sigh anything out from your morning or your week that's not serving the truest and highest version of yourself that you are becoming every day. Feel the world still turning. As you inhale, imagine the heart is a battery pack that you can fill up with bright white light. And exhale any tension out of the shoulders, the back of the neck, down into the hips, and releasing out of the feet. So I think most of us are on mute now, but the more audible you can make your own breath, this is an invitation to do so you can remind the body that it's okay to do this, and it's a safe space, now more than ever in the comfort of our own homes. Big inhale here, receive the breath through the back of the neck, feel it light up the spine and invigorate you. And as you exhale, release even more into Mama Earth. So imagining you could take all of your troubles and cares and worries and just drop them down through the floorboards, into the soil, letting them be absorbed. And on your inhales, draw up that vibrant energy of vitality. It's not imaginary, it's real. Let that infuse you with wisdom to know what's best for you in the coming weeks and throughout your practice. So breathing on your own. Getting in touch with what's going on in both the physical body landscape as well as the mental and energetic picture of how you arrive on your mat today. So this little journey I have planned for us is more about the transition and the journey itself than it is about the perfection of the poses. Even more than any other class, this one is about the liminal space in between these shapes and the rhythm of how we get there. So a lot of these poses we explore you'll be familiar with, the general terrain, but the rhythm that we're building and the flow of the breath is allowing us to relinquish control over any sort of perfection or notion of that. Fill up through the back of the neck. And let something release out through the hips, down through the feet. And slowly, as you're ready, begin to peel yourself out of this supportive shape with the support of the hands, walking back towards the knees. Find something you can prop up on, maybe those same pillows that you used underneath of the head, you can use as a perch to come and sit on now. Take a nice cross-legged seat, nothing too exhausting or even taxing in any way. Let it be soft and luxurious. Let the knees descend a little bit lower than the hips, feeling length along the spine. I've been asking people, give me a thumbs up if the sound is pretty good. And if you'd like it to go high.
It could be a little louder.
It could be a little louder. Okay, that's fine. I just don't want to be shouting in people's ears, so that's good to know.
Okay.
I'll speak up a bit. Is that a little better?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Float the eyes closed. Bring your hands to heart center. Again, feeling into the landscape of how you land. We'll open our practice with the sound of 3 ohms. You can do this audibly, or obviously you can be in silence and just feel the sound vibration around you. You can also unmute your sound if you want to hear everyone else's voices. Some people have been saying that's nice. So we'll inhale, let the energy rise along the spine as the heart lifts. That sound vibration lands, beginning to wake you up. Note how each juncture is like charging the battery. The sound of Om, the vibration there, the original invitation to receive and ground in center. And as we begin to move, of course, that will electrify the battery pack as well. So begin cultivating your soft Ujjayi breath. I'm going to trust that everyone's pretty familiar with their Ujjayi here, since I heard you all greeting each other, knowing each other from classes. So use that as you proceed. And float the eyes open. We'll begin to move, stretching the arms out and up, reaching the fingertips towards the sky, expansive. And sigh. Reach for the stars, out and up overhead. Pull their energy down through your heart. Inhale, circle the arms wide, biggest breath yet. And this time we'll reach the arms out to a T. Feel like the fingers and the hands could touch, the backs of the hands could touch behind you. And then soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. Big inhale here. And exhale, sigh once more. Now we'll take the arms up and overhead, interlace the fingers. Begin to rotate the palms up towards the sky. Big inhale here as you arch the spine, perhaps drawing the biceps a little further back toward the ears. Do what the body feels spacious enough to do. Lift up through the heart. And on the exhale, we'll round the spine, tucking in, letting the gaze drop towards the thighs or the knees or even the belly. Big inhale, we lift the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, we curl inside ourselves. Neck drops, head drops. Inhale, expand, arms reach out and up overhead. And exhale, this time we'll release into a twist to your right side, bringing the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, and bringing the right hand somewhere behind you that can support you and lift and lengthen you up. Feel space expand through the back of the neck. And on your exhale, pivot your twist around to the right side. Gazing softly over the right shoulder, Draw the breath in. And you're inviting your exhale to twist you a little bit deeper, even if it's only a speck. And from that twist, you'll reach your right arm up alongside the right ear. We'll get a lateral side stretch as you lean over towards the left knee. Use the left hand on the right thigh to leverage your twist, perhaps spiraling the left ribs around towards the sky a little bit more as you lean over towards your left knee. Root down through the right hip and expand through the right side body, lighting it up from fingertip to hip, anchoring down through the sit bones, curling the bicep in toward the ear. Big inhale as you stretch, and exhale. Use your inhale to draw your torso back up to center, and take the arms behind you again. Let the heart lift, let the hands drift towards each other. Big inhale, and exhale, the shoulders soften. This time we'll reach the hands behind us and interlace the fingers at the low back. You can keep the elbows bent for a second as you draw the inner rims of the shoulder blades together. Sort of like a little bit of back cleavage. And then again, soften the shoulder, let the shoulders drop down, and drop your left ear over to your left shoulder, stretching through the right side of the neck. And then again, maybe the fisted knuckles engage, lifting a little bit further away from your low back as you get that stretch through the right side of the neck. Big inhale here, and exhale, sigh. Lift the head back up towards level, and we'll take the other side, dropping right ear to the right shoulder to get the same stretch through the left side of the neck. Pressing the palms together, perhaps lifting the fisted knuckles, smidge away from the back body. Find some awareness in the belly button, perhaps draw the belly button back toward the spine, energizing the core. And then lift your chin back up towards level. So it may or may not be that the neck is open to this. You can get as much stretch here with the shoulders, that's plenty. If you want to duck your chin to the notch of the throat and that feels okay on the cervical spine, you can go ahead and do that now. Breath into the spine and the back of the neck. Release your shoulders down away from the ears on the exhale. And then again, if you'd like to let your eyes search for the sky, peeling the gaze up and overhead. So obviously, if there's any challenges going on in the cervical spine, don't do what hurts. Re-engage the inner rims of the shoulder blades, draw them together. And again, soften the shoulders down. Lift the chin away from the chest. We'll release the arms and we'll take that twist to the left. Bringing right hand to the outside of the left thigh. And your hip points face forward to the top of your mat or whatever in front of you. Feel your left shoulder open. Feel the heart sparkle up. Relax the back of the neck and the jaw as you twist. Big inhale here to find length. And big exhale as you release a little tiny deeper into your twist. We'll extend the left arm up alongside the left ear this time. And begin to lean over towards the right knee, stretching through the side body, anchoring the left hip down. As you still keep twisting, perhaps the right rib spiral up toward the sky, and your bicep recurls in toward the ear. Feel that stretch with the inhale all the way from your fingertips to your armpit, down through the hip. Maybe pressing the thigh away from you. That would be the left thigh that your right hand has a hold of. And then come on back up. And then we'll crawl forward onto hands and knees. I'm going to do a little free form to have some time with your own breath. I'll give you a little bit of guidance, but you're going to take it at your own pace, like so much of this practice. So you're going to begin your cat-cows, and then you're going to begin to bring some free form movement into it. And over the course of the next 10 breaths, spending some time with yourself, you're going to let the intuition guide the body from those cat-cows, perhaps circling the hips and undulating them around, bringing the head into the action. In those 10 breaths, you'll make your way to your first downward facing dog very slowly at your own pace. Spend some time with your own breath here, really listening into that deep intuition, taking no rush to get into your first upside down V shape. I won't go anywhere without everyone. More than ever, we're all a team here. There's all these mass meditations going on, ushering in what feels like a new age. With all of our help and participation, we can hopefully raise the energy vibration of the planet. And that can be one of the things that shifts in this change and comes out of it. So I'll leave you to your own breath till I see everyone in their upside down V shapes for a few breaths. And of course, let your first down dog be nice and soft. Don't energize it too much. Creating space by bending the knees and bobbling the head up and down. Getting acquainted with the distance between the front and the back feet. Creating smoothness in the jaw and the back of the neck. And letting the head fall out of the shoulders rather than craning the neck. Find your big breath here. And exhale, press down through pointer finger and thumb. Feel that be your anchor. All 10 fingers, but particularly through the pointer finger and thumb. Big inhale. And big exhale. Now we'll sweep the right leg up and back behind us. And we'll give a nice soft opening through the hip. As the right knee bends and peels open toward the sky, make some circles with the right knee, exploring there and going in all directions, excavating any pains and bringing light into those spaces. But mostly just feeling how you feel, feeling how you arrive on each side. And then we'll extend the right leg, reaching it back up behind us. Draw on a little awareness of the belly, connecting there. We'll step the right foot forward between the hands, coming into a lunge. We'll drop the back knee softly to the floor and come up to the right thigh, palm to palm. I'm gonna rotate around just a little bit here. You can always pad up underneath at any time with your, a swatch of your mat. That's what that's called. Sinking down through your left hip. And even as you sink, see if you can find lift and length through the spine as the palms and the elbows press towards straightening. So as much as you sink through the left hip and you find length through the spine to lift you up. Reaching the right hip points away from the right thigh crease. Stretch up through the arms. Letting the fingertips reach up towards the sky, letting the heart aim up there as well. We sink into the pose, and we rise. Perhaps if the space is there, you draw your biceps towards your ears. Let your thumbs reach toward the wall behind you. But before you go back, lift up, find length. Big inhale here. And on your exhale, bring your hands to frame your front foot. We'll twist. Lift the back knee, untuck your back toes, reach your right arm up. Left rib spiral around to the right inner thigh. As you press the back heel back, let the left ribs twirl around. And let your right arm drift behind you as much as it wants. Let your jaw soften. And exhale. Big inhale here. And on the exhale, hand frames the front foot. We'll step back for our nice, easy first soft vinyasa. Foot steps back to foot. Undulate like a wave, ripple forward to your high plank, head arrives last, unpeaking. And exhale, lower your knees. Shift your chest forward of your thumbs and bring the heart between the thumbs. This is Ashtapranam. Press forward onto the toes. Tops of the feet press down as the heart projects forward. Relax the neck. And exhale, bow to yourself. Lift your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Let those breaths settle you in. Still at this point, a nice soft bend at the knees. As we progress and begin to build pose upon pose, feeling a nice rhythm build. Like a little dance with yourself. This time we'll stretch the left leg up and back behind us and let it be easy as the hip stacks on top of the hip. This time it's the left knee making circles. Going in the opposite direction and taking an inventory, feeling how this side feels different. Let the experience of the body allow you to feel rather than the mind. Now extend the left leg back behind you. Energy of the belly as you step your left foot forward between your hands. Drop onto the back knee, untuck the back toes. And we'll rise onto the opposite thigh, the left thigh. Maybe the opposite palm comes on top just to even out. Perhaps the elbows begin to stretch straight. And another thing, press into the front foot to feel yourself expand through the right and left side body. Sink down as you lift up. Reach the arms up alongside the ears, expansive. And exhale, release a little more. Lift up. And the hand comes down, the right hand. As we twist, we'll lift the back knee and tuck the back toes. Reach the left arm up towards the sky. As the right hip spirals around to the left inner thigh, the left thigh squeezes back. Let the neck be soft here. So that's the surrender of the shape, neck soft, smooth. And then the energy and the effort comes in the back heel pressing back and the front shin pressing forward. Big inhale. On your exhale, hands frame the front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward, uncurling to high plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, roll over the toes, baby cobra. And exhale, bow to yourself, chin to chest. Hips to sky, downward facing dog. Big inhale. Big exhale. Slowly begin to walk the feet towards the top of the mat. And when you arrive at the top of the mat, let your feet be nice and wide as your mat. Soften the knees, drifting weight into the toes, perhaps holding on to the elbows or wrists, allowing your spine to sway like an elephant's trunk. Softness coming in, release through the top half of the body, big inhale, and exhale, sigh. Imagine something else could pour down the back of the spine, releasing into the ground, absorbing what you don't need. Each time you breathe, it's another thing from your week you empty. Fill up space or allow space for the good stuff to come in. Big inhale here. Sigh as you dump. Let the arms waggle down at the sides. Let your head be soft as you peel your way up, letting the back of the heart lead you. And as you arrive at the top of your mat, come to Tadasana. Your version, nice and strongly rooted. Either feet hip width distance or feet to touch. We'll inhale, circle the arms wide, reaching out and up overhead. And exhale, empty yourself, pouring in and down. Inhale, launch up through the spine, lengthen through the chest. And exhale, hands to the floor, step back to high plank. You can stick with knees, chest, chin into baby cobra. If you'd like, you can lower down, low push-up, or some variation, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, roll over to the toes, to the tops of the feet, peel the shoulders back, upward facing dog, or baby cobra. Exhale, shift the hips, downward facing dog. So mix and match, pick and choose. Also finding child's pose every once in a while, or many, many times. Rise onto the tippy toes, big inhale. Exhale, step or hop the feet forward, find a lengthy spine as you land, stretch space, and exhale, fold in half. Root through your feet, rise through your heart, circle the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, you pour right back in and down, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to shin or fingertips alongside toe tips. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step or hop back, first yogi's choice of vinyasa. We arrive in downward facing dog. This time the right leg sweeps up and back. Right foot steps back between the hands. And the back knee will drop to the floor. We'll be here less time. 1 breath to 1 movement ratio. Reach the arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, the hands come to frame the front foot. Left hand plants, right arm lifts for our twist. Spiral left ribs around. Hand comes back down to the floor, pivot the back heel down. Leading with that left arm, we come up warrior 2. Soften down through the shoulders. Strong through the front thigh. Allow the eyes to drift softly closed. Notice bodily, energetically, mind landscape. If you're reaching really far into the future, or you're drifting back into the past, ruminating over it. So one is worry, one is rumination. Feel the shoulders stack you over the hips. Send your strength into that front thigh and center yourself in the now. That's all we've got. Big inhale and exhale, sigh the shoulders down. So we're gonna begin the first journey, and we're gonna begin to press off of that front foot. So like I said, the journey is what we're all about today. And this right foot is gonna land us in tree pose eventually. So find that nice hover point, that liminal space right between where you connect that foot. Perhaps you find a little space, a little jiggly balance. And then the right foot lands where you like it. So you can bring it to the heel or the ankle, you can bring it to the calf. You can release the hand and guide the leg towards the thigh. Begin to guide the hands to heart center. Root down through the left hip into the left ankle. Maybe you stretch the arms up and overhead. So familiarizing yourself with the stability of this shape. Big inhale, stretch up through the fingertips, draw the right knee behind you. Inhale. And exhale, spot your gaze to the top of your mat, and you're gonna step that right foot back into warrior 2. Bring your hands to your hips, pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Press the back heel back, press your front shin forward. Pressing into the ball of the front foot, just draw this left knee forward. So get used to that action, that movement, just redistributing the weight. And then we step back, that foot back. We'll begin to turn the toes around to the long side of the mat. Turn your toes in for wide-legged forward fold. Squeeze the elbows like they could meet behind you. Lift the front of your chest. Perhaps finding something in front of you if the floor feels far away. Or bringing the fingertips to line up with the toe tips as you fold in half. So either fingertips line up to toe tips or heels of the hands line up to the heels of the feet. But definitely the elbows bend back towards each other, like chaturanga arms. See if you can tip some weight forward towards the front of the toes. Feel how that automatically lifts your tailbone and the backs of the sit bones up. From there, what would happen if you roll onto the outside edges of the feet, pinky toe edge? Perhaps you find a little bit more space. Back of the neck relaxes, big inhale. And exhale, sigh into your forward fold. We'll begin to walk the hands around to the left foot. So we're on the opposite side of our mat now. And you'll step back to downward facing dog. Here's your choice of vinyasa, or stay in dog, or find a child's pose as always if the breath eludes you. And we'll meet back in our downward facing dog for the other side. So just so everybody's on the right side, we're on the left side now. And once we meet in dog, we'll sweep the left leg up and back up and back. Step your left foot forward between the hands. Drop onto the back knee and tuck the back toes. We rise, arms up alongside the ears. Big inhale. Exhale, hands frame the front foot to twist. Right hand down, left arm up. Big inhale. Hand comes down, spin onto the heel of the back foot. Lead with the right arm, come up into warrior two. Settle into your warrior two. Do the efforting here. And let the shoulders be what relinquish any control. So feel yourself empowered, but not pushy. That's what I remind myself of. You've gone out in public, there's a lot more friendliness, but you'll find an edge in some people too. So wherever you can soften, the better it is. Draw the left knee towards the pinky toe edge of the left foot. And begin to find that little dance. So we're getting used to this movement. A little more of a map this time on this side. Find your little hover space. Connect your heel to heel or foot to calf. You know where we're going now. So Vrikshasana, tree pose. Once you get your roots planted, grow the branches where you want them, nice. Again, feeling yourself firmly rooted, beautiful guys. And then prepare to cross that little threshold as you gaze down the front of your mat and step your left foot back. We'll grab the hips with the hands and pivot onto the ball of the back foot. We'll just practice that transition of the right knee in towards the chest. And then step the right foot back. Big inhale, arms stretch up alongside ears. And bring your hands back down. This time we're going to turn your toes out for goddess pose as we shift towards the other side. And then you can bring your hands where you want, heart center, or a mudra, pointer finger to thumb crease. Plugging you back towards your own energetic source. Feel the light of source coming down through the crown, electrifying you as you feel the stability of the earth. Perhaps you want to try a little balance here, lifting up onto the toes. So do what feels spacious, going only to the edge of whatever your growth edge is. The heels come down. Pivot onto the ball of the left foot this time. We frame the front foot with the hands. Step back, downward facing dog. No vinyasa here. We'll get familiar with that sequence and then we'll build on. Sweep the right leg up and back. Step your right foot forward between the hands. Drop the back knee and tuck the back toes. Rise up, expand into your low lunge. Hands come to frame the front foot. Left hand plants, right arm lifts. Big inhale. Bring the hand down, pivot onto the heel of the back foot, rise into your warrior two. Begin to press off that front foot. We won't be here as long this time. Just enough to pause and hover. And then the foot lands. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Hands come to hips. This time as we draw the left knee forward, we're going to cross the left knee over top the right knee. For Garudasana, eagle pose. Reach the arms out to a T. It's your right elbow that crosses underneath your left elbow. Once or twice. I'll go for one. Big inhale here. And exhale, sink. We'll unhook the left knee. And we'll step the left foot back behind us, landing in our lunge again. And this time we'll draw the hands to frame the front foot. And we'll come into Skandasana on our left side. So the right toes face up. A little bit of a different transition. Then we'll walk the hands around to the right. So the hips can be high. If the hips are a little bit tight, you'll just be working on strength. And then pivot onto the left side. Yep, drop onto the back knee, untuck the back toes. We'll go right into it. Arms rise alongside the ears, big inhale. Exhale, hands frame the front foot for the twist. Right hand plants, left arm lifts. Hand comes down, pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Lead with the right arm, expand. Begin to wiggle yourself up. Woo, it's hard to teach on this Zoom meeting and do a full practice. I'm out of breath. All right, plant the left foot down. Hands come to hips, pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Pour the weight into the front foot. Right knee this time crosses to eagle pose. Arms reach out to a T. This time it's the left elbow that comes underneath the right. So since we're about the transition and focusing on that, we won't be in each pose as long, and we won't be in this as long as a standard eagle. Sink down, familiarizing yourself with the shape. And then we'll unfold the arms, step your right foot back. Big inhale here. Hands frame the front foot. We come to Skandasana on the right side. Left toes pivot up. We'll walk to the other side. So you can begin to use just your hands if you want. And then we'll pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Frame the front foot with the hand, step back, downward facing dog. Yep, choice of vinyasa here or stay in downward facing dog. At the end of this cycle, before we go any further, we'll take a child's pose. It's about time. Give yourself surrender and release. Feel the energy that fueled that effort. Charging up your battery. If you need to get water, get water. Breathing in through the back of the heart space. And exercise surrender. Nice. Active rest. Most important. We'll come back up to our downward facing dog. We'll put that all together. And out of downward facing dog with an inhale, stretch the right leg high. Exhale, step it through. Drop the back knee and tuck the back toes. Rise up, big inhale. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Twist to the right, big inhale. And exhale, hands frame the front foot. Spin the back heel down, warrior two. Rocking into that front foot. Hover point lands you into your tree pose. Hands come to heart center. Nice, guys. Gazing over the top of your mat, Pow. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot, pressing into the front foot. Left knee stacks over left knee. Right arm underneath left, Garudasana arm, sit low, big inhale. And exhale, unthread. Hands frame the front foot. You walk over to Skandasana, hands or no hands. That's the left foot now. Right foot, Skandasana. Left foot, Skandasana. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. We're on the left side. Inhale, you rise. Exhale, hands plant. Right hand plants, left arm lifts. Nice job. Keep the breath going. Hand plants down. Back heel pivots. Warrior two. You got it. Press off the front foot. Find that threshold as you land. Catch your breath, gaze over the top of your mat. Foot plants, warrior two. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Begin to press into the front foot. Right knee stacks on top of left. Left arm comes underneath right arm. Sit deep for that breath. And then extend yourself back. High lunge, big inhale. Hands come to frame the front foot. Skandasana, right side, hands or no hands. Walk yourself over to the other side. Walk yourself back over to the right side. Hands come to the inside of the foot this time. So turn your right toes out. Drop onto the back knee. Untuck your back toes. We'll come into a lizard pose to get a nice hip opening. So if it feels better for you to start, you can certainly have the toes facing forward, or you can have the toes facing out to the right. And just gauge what allows you to keep spaciousness along the spine. So if you're going to come down onto your forearms, just see about maintaining length through the spine. You can keep the back knee lifted or on the floor. Draw the knee towards the chest. And then we'll contrast that by dropping onto the outside edge of the right foot, letting the right knee drift open. Either the left hand or the left forearm stays on the ground. We'll reach the right arm up. Feel the expansion as you reach up. Perhaps that left hip drops down a little bit, further opening the hip. Be where you are, and breathe. Hand comes down to the inside of the foot. Move your block out of the way. And then we'll come up onto the front thigh for a quick twist. Reach the left arm up alongside the left ear. And hook your left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. You can tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee for your twist. As the hands come to heart center, press the right hand down into the left. Perhaps that allows you to pivot the left ribs around towards the sky as the right elbow points up in a right angle. So you can stay here twisting or come onto the back knee. If you'd like, you can spot your gaze to the top of your mat and step the back foot forward for a little Utkatasana twist. Big inhale here and exhale. If that foot came forward, step it back and release the hands to frame the front foot. We'll begin to walk ourselves over to the left side now. And we'll just drop into that same lizard pose on this side. Left toes turn open or stay in. Make your way on this side, knowing it's going to be a little bit different. Perhaps propping up on a block. If lifting the back knee feels good on this side, go ahead and do it. So one of the benefits that I'm feeling come out of this, and I've said this earlier this week as I've been practicing, is the presence in the company of my own people, right? The willingness to drop the phone, not because I'm forcing myself to, but because it feels less necessary than it did before to rely on it in terms of entertainment. Maybe you've already reached that point before this invitation to drop out of normal society was thrust upon us. Or perhaps you can reflect on a time and cultivate the memory of what this feels like to you. So for me, it's like a camping trip. The first couple days, everyone has their little activities, whether it's playing their musical instrument or reading. Allow that left knee to drift open to the side. We'll take our little twist, right forearm stays down, or right hand. Lift your left arm up. Let your heart spiral around as the right hip drops. And then by the end of that camping trip, everyone just kind of is, or at least there's a willingness to just sit, be in each other's presence, be around the fire. Perhaps you reflect on this and see the positive that's coming out of it. Big inhale here. Hand comes down. Move your block out of the way if you had one there, or any prop like I did. Lift the back knee, untuck your back toes. We'll step forward to Malasana for one last little hip stretch and groin stretch. I know, it's hard in 2D. I learned that the first week when I tried to do a mandala around the mat. So half the audience was facing away from the screen. Feel the heart lift into the thumbs, rolling onto the pinky toe edge of the feet. We'll take a little opening. Left hand plants down, right arm reaches up. Allow the arm to drift behind you. Big inhale. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Right hand comes down, lift the left arm up. Take a moment here to feel all that your body allows you to do. This is a time to be ever grateful for it. Really feeling that awareness pour through you. Hand comes down. Bring your hands to the floor. Lift your hips to the sky. And bring your feet to touch. We'll come down into a little squat here. And do one of my favorite things before we find a little bit of rest down on our mat. So the heels come up off of the floor for this. And begin to rock and roll along the spine. You can use your hands to drop back. You're going to rock up into Utkatasana. You can cross at the ankles, or again, you can use your hands, or you can find a little momentum. Come up, Utkatasana. Big inhale. And exhale, forward fold. So one thing I missed is that little twist on the other side. So step your right foot back. Drop your back knee and tuck your back toes. We'll come up and do that twisted side angle real quick. Reach the arms up alongside the ears. Right elbow to outside of left thigh. Take your prayer twist. Lift the back knee if you'd like. Press the left hand down into the right hand. Feel if this allows you to pivot the belly further down over into the left thigh. Big inhale here. And exhale, release the hand to frame the front foot. Step back for your last vinyasa if you'd like one. Nice. Keep the breath going. Smoothly. We'll ripple forward to our high plank. You can lower down as quickly or as slowly as you'd like onto the belly. Untuck your toes and make a pillow with your hands. You might even make a little triangle with your pointer fingers and your thumbs, and let your third eye rest there in its little crevice. So connecting with what's said to be the seat of your intuition. Third eye chakra between the eyebrows. And imagine that the battery of light you've been charging, the energetic connection with the energy all around you, the energy of the universe, of humanity. Imagine you could shoot that light right into that third eye center, illuminating your path without effort. So there's that old saying, we make plans and God, she laughs. So perhaps turning your path over a higher consciousness of your own self. Letting the ego drop away, letting this plant some seeds for you for the days ahead. Big breath in. Big breath out. We'll come up onto our forearms. We'll do a nice Sphinx pose for our first of 2 back bends. So hopefully you can see here. Turn your left fingertips towards your right forearm. So you have that as a little kickstand. Begin to bend your right knee. So whether you reach the right foot with the hand is immaterial. You'll be working on strength here if that foot doesn't feel close by. If you'd like, you can reach around for the foot. Inner or outer ankle is just fine. You might wiggle the foot towards the elbow crease. Big inhale here, lift through the heart. Press into all those toenails on the floor. So the 5 toenails on the left foot. That sounds funny. If you want to press into the front hand, feel the elbow stretch towards straight. You can do that for a little more of a back bend. Big inhale here, soften the neck, gaze forward. And exhale, come on back down. Let the foot release. And windshield wiper your feet as you come down onto the forehead. Bend the knees. Releasing the hips. Big inhale. And sigh it away. Come back up onto the forearms for the opposite side. Turn your right fingertips slightly towards the left fingertips. Bend the left knee. Find a soft neck. Reach back for the foot, inner or outer ankle. Draw the foot in. So the hips square, the shoulders square. Pause here. Find a little lift in the pelvis. Find awareness through the belly. Tuck the tailbone down slightly. Maybe if you want to stretch the elbows straight, the front elbow, you can do that. Press all 5 of your toes down towards the floor of the right foot. Big inhale here. And exhale, come on down. So this time we'll roll over onto the back to rest a second before we come into our second of 2 offerings of back bends. So rest on your back for a second. Really allowing yourself to intuitively feel what the best option is. So I'm going to speak to bridge pose. And if you want a full wheel, you go on and take it. The same principles apply though. Turning the toes out is not good on your knees, so have the outside edges of the feet parallel or pigeon-toed in. Either one is fine. Have the feet about hip-width distance apart. And bring your hands alongside your hips. You might want to reach back and find your ankles are close by enough that you can use the press of the feet to stabilize you. If you're doing full wheel, the hands will face down towards the shoulder tips and hands will come alongside ears. If you're joining me in bridge, press into the hands, lift up through the hips. Feel like there's something between your thighs. Resist into that something as the thighs press in and down towards each other. There's going to be a natural tightening of the glutes. See if you can release that, even if just for a breath. Press into all four corners of each foot. Maybe you want to interlace the fingers, shrugging one shoulder underneath each shoulder blade. Maybe you've already done that. And if you're in full wheel, let your heart and the mid-back reach toward the front of the mat, so towards your hands. Big inhale here. You come down when you want to. On your exhale, the body is going to tell you when it's time for you to come down. And then once you come down, you'll draw your knees in towards your chest. And drop them over to the left side for a twist. A supine twist on our backs. Should feel delicious to realign the spine. Either bent elbows or stretched elbows. Draw your knees in close and gaze over your right shoulder. The left hand on the top thigh can be used on the hip to draw the hip around and away from your right armpit. Big inhale and exhale. Jatara Parivartanasana, supine twist. Allow the knees to skim the sky. Drop them over to the opposite side. Drop your gaze over the left shoulder. Take hold of something if it feels good to give yourself a hands-on adjustment. Gazing over the left shoulder. If we were in a tangible class, I'd be bringing around my lemongrass or my special blends to press on people's shoulders. Good little psychic exercise to see if you can call to mind those aromas, even without them fully present. And allow your knees to come back towards overhead. We're going to take a happy baby pose. Take your hands to the inside or outside of the arches, whichever you prefer. And allow them luxuriously to come out as wide, ankles spreading apart as you'd like. It can be really nice to stretch one leg straight at a time, feel the hamstring opening. If that doesn't feel good to you, don't do that like anything. It can also feel really nice to stretch the legs overhead into a sort of pike. So it's like a reverse forward fold. You would bring the feet over the head. Drawing the feet towards your face. You can do this to any extent you want. You could also take hold of the ankles or just behind the calves. Big inhale and exhale. Let the legs drift back down. Let the feet come to the floor and grab any props you would like for your shavasana or layers. Excuse me, I have a frog, I think, in my throat. If there's any last pose before we come to final rest that's absolutely calling out to you, you can do that. cover yourself up once you're ready. Perhaps if you want to turn your lights to dim, I should have said that before. As always for Shavasana, allowing your body to release and take up its full entitlement to space. With your inhale, feel all the space in your body, all the energy flowing out the crown of the head in the opposite direction through the feet, extending through your fingertips, electrifying your body. Big inhale. And sigh into the floor. Arrived at the end of our journey. The most important pose, Shavasana. Allow yourself to sink and receive all the efforts of your practice without expectation or attachment to any result. Perhaps calling to mind a person or place or a loved one that invites ease and spaciousness in your Shavasana. I always like to think of the dock that my dad fished on and how I would watch him and crabbing. That's a comfort place. Sparkling lake. I don't think it could have been a lake actually, because that doesn't have fish in it. No, maybe it does, but no crabs. Anyway, big inhale here. And exhale, sigh. Not the time to be silly, Jennifer. Yourself receive whatever the universe has to download in the form of wisdom to you personally. these snippets of breath you start to take. Feel self moving back to self. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Expanding those movements, depth breath by deepening breath into some rolls of the wrist and the ankles. Perhaps you want to pause in a full body yawn, arms overhead, feet stretching in the opposite direction. Before you draw the knees to the chest and roll onto one side. Noticing the effects of your practice. Perhaps noting predominance of self here just for the time that you're practicing and carrying that off ever increasingly into the world to guide you. So allowing ego to recede further and further. By carrying this feeling with you. And as you're ready, begin to roll through one side, coming up to your comfortable seat that you started in. Either leave your hands resting on your thighs or unite them in a gesture of reverence at heart center. This is called the hard season. Rain glutted, the stream splays to the base of the retaining wall. Good. Now you have reason to pray. Of all the birds watching from winter-stripped trees, vultures are kindest, killing nothing. This is a true measure of things. Don't hold back now. Have chocolate. Throw extra kindling on. Even though the skies urge cover and hoarding. When mice pitter in for crumbs, compliment their small feet and fitting ways. When your mouth houses a curse, swallow. Think how you once had no words at all, yet managed your hungers. Everything that comes passes. Everything that passes rakes its fingers through and it passes. So knowing that the one thing we can depend upon is change. Grateful to each other for practicing together, live. We'll close our practice with the sound of Om, that sacred uniting of voices and vibration that gets us ever closer to our true selves. Inhale, receive the breath. And as always, sigh. Let anything drip out that you don't need before we Om. Inhale. Drawing your thumbs up to the third eye, between the eyebrows, inviting in light. Fold that forward into all the light that's already there. Jai, victory, and namaste.